exciting times. Got a new album coming out in May. I was actually quite surprised with the announcement of the new album because it's only been a little over a year since the last album came out. So it's been a pretty quick turnover. Did you start writing this one pretty quickly, or?
Yeah, we started writing it like the day after Escape of the Phoenix came out, and mainly because I saw the pandemic coming, and sort of reasoning behind that was that we're not gonna be playing live for a decent amount of time. So I figured we better be like anybody else, go to work 8 o'clock and get the grind in.
Yeah, so I guess you didn't have much of a chance to sort of get out there and promote to Escape of the Phoenix then.
No, I think we did 4 shows only, and that was quite late last year actually. So, but I mean, at least we got to do that, But for sure, now doing a tour this coming fall will be concentrating on both those albums, of course.
So together, Heartless Portrait, in brackets, the Orphean Testament. Interesting title. Where does that come from?
I would say that the title is my testament of how I sum up my lyrics for the last 12 albums.
Okay.
The last sounds weird in a sense, but I mean it's what Evergrey always been about, being honest and sincere and writing about the personal human aspects of life and how I see myself fitting in a world where I don't want to fit in, because I watch it every day becoming more vile and hostile it's when you feel like an outsider, you're not, the urge is not there to fit in. It's I really want to distance myself more than anything. So, and it's all about these in bracket things. The title there, the Orphean Testament, is my view of the Greek mythology. Where Orpheus has a chance to save his loved one from hell, basically, and the only thing he has to do is to keep walking. Don't turn around, but that's what he does. He turns around, and everybody says that, oh, it's such a lovely love story, but he's a fucking egotistic bastard, isn't he?
Yeah.
And that's how I see humans as well today. We are so short-termed, looking, very short ahead, or we want to strive to be somewhere in 10 years. We're never in like content where we are right now. So it's like my view of the world, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting take, and it's certainly something that I think we all kind of collectively feel. It's frustrating, and we're all divided and all this kind of stuff. I mean, obviously with the COVID stuff and all that, I mean, I guess social media, in my view, kind of plays a big part in that. I mean, do you kind of feel that that's sort of instigating a lot of this stuff?
I think I'm not against stuff. I'm pro other stuff instead,
Sure.
So instead of being, because that also feeds this narrative of being negative, and I'm not negative. That's even though that might be the outcome and the sort of the initial view you have of our music or covers or whatever. But my take is that I'm viewing the world through these glasses that I have on, right? And I see the world deteriorating, and I see us forgetting who we are. And if you would call somebody in Ukraine today and ask them what is important in life, I can guarantee you it's got nothing to do with fucking TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And that said, all of these things can be used in a great way too, and that's how I think we should remind our younger people today that it's not, they should not determine who you are, right? And they should not think for you. That's an entertainment piece, and you should use it just as that. It's not like you go to a concert for 10 hours, unless you're on a festival, of course. But I mean, But this is like scrolling 8 hours per day. It's like, these are the people who are going to be our leaders soon.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been fed the view of the world by TikTok,
Now, something I guess more positive is the first single you put out earlier in the year, "Save Us," which is obviously about exactly what you sort of touched on a little bit about being lost and all this kind of stuff, and it features your fans in the song as well, which is such a great idea. Where did that whole thing sort of come about?
It just came to me when I was on a walk, because I usually use my iPhone to sing in my ideas, and I'm astounded about how good it sounds, actually. The actual sound of the compression in the iPhone, or Android, I guess. I don't know. There are other bands out there as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's such a great sound. So I figured this would work to just have people sending in their voices, So we gave them that in a video, told them sing in, and you can be a sort of the choir for a song on the album. They got a beat, and they listened to the in their headphones, and then I sort of gave them a guiding track, and they overdubbed that. So, and then we received several hundreds of them. So it was quite some work to pile them together and get them straight in the studio. But today there are great tools to do that. There's a tool called Vocaline, for instance, that matches things up in wave form so that it sounds great. So we did that, and also all of the guys sending in their stuff are also named in the booklet as choir people. So that ensures us that they will buy the album too.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but it's great, actually.
I guess that's sort of the cool thing about the sort of world we live in, I guess, sort of talking about the positivity of all the things that we have, the technology allows us to have that connection to other people like that. And I mean, who would have thought you could do something like that, 30, 40 years ago, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, or even 10 years ago, I would say, honestly. I mean, digitally you could record, but the quality of sending in such a thing so that it works is remarkable. And I mean, we did the same co-creation thing with the Midwinter Call song as well, where they recorded the live audience in Sweden to be featured on a studio album, which is also quite a unique take, I think. But it's an awesome way for us to record that moment and have that with us in all of our lives, and also for them, of course. So it's just awesome.
Very cool. Now, how would you place this album compared to the previous album, Escape of the Phoenix? I mean, obviously they're very close to each other, but was there a separation factor? Did you kind of stay away from certain things that you did before, or how did you sort of do it?
We just started the day after, as I said, the day after Escape came out. We just started writing. We said, okay, let's start writing again and see where we end up. So it's pretty much, I think it's pretty much taking off. If we would have chosen to have 21 songs on the Escape of the Phoenix album, this is how it would have sounded anyway.
Yeah.
It would be, because I still think there's some, which is remarkable in a sense. Not patting myself on the back or anything, but it's strange that it can sound so diverse, because it's diverse from how I view Escape of the Phoenix in any case, because it's got elements in there that I have not on my voice. For instance, I use elements in my voice that I did not use on Escape of the Phoenix, and that I've never used before, because I use them in Silent Skies, which is my other duo project. Yeah. So it's like that had time to get in there somehow, remarkably. I don't know how the hell that happened, but because I recorded the Silent Skies albums in between, So it's like started recording Silent Skies album when we started doing the videos for the Escape of the Phoenix. So it's like been going on for. It's like a 2-year-long recording period for me.
I mean, I did want to ask about that because obviously with Silent Skies, I mean, you had an album put out just earlier this year as well. And I was wondering, like, how did you sort of balance between the two? I mean, obviously Evergrey is, I guess, your main project, but I mean, that's got to be a very busy time to sort of juggle between the two things.
Yeah, I learned one thing. I studied at the university when I was old. I started studying when I was like 40 to become a social psychologist. So I decided that now I need to structure this goddamn mind somehow, because it's driving me crazy. This ADHD brain that I seem to have, at least some parts of, which is a great gift when it comes to creativity, but it's also a horrible thing to have when I'm trying to sleep, So, but then I decided that I can't do this 5-year education and not be structured and be like I'm in my music everywhere at all times. So I had to structure it. So, and that taught me how to structure the music business as well. So for me, it was like Monday, Tuesday, video recording Evergrey. Wednesday, Thursday, writing Silent Skies. Friday, I also write video game music for a company called Saber Interactive. So this last 20 months, I've done 6 albums and 4 video games, and
Wow.
yeah,
That's crazy.
that's why I look like this.
But I mean, that's something that you obviously enjoy. I mean, some people kind of don't like to be too busy and like to have a bit of a chill factor. And I guess you kind of go the opposite direction and love to sort of be active all the time, which is a good thing to have, I guess.
I mean, I think I've also realized that this is who I am. You know, it's no point in fighting that. Instead, I had to sort of steer it in the right direction and sort of set the boundaries. I start working at 8 and I stop working at 5, and then the brain can keep on working for the rest of the hours. But at least I'm not doing something physically to you know, keep on working. But it's like, but it is hard. I won't. And it is wearing me out, but at the same time, it's wearing me out, and I'm happy. It's not the other way. I'm not going to a work where I'm unhappy and it's wearing me out. So I just feel blessed in that sense.
That's good. Now, you recently posted on social media about sort of, I guess there was a comparison picture between your younger self and your current self. And you kind of stated in there that you wished you had discovered music a little bit earlier in your life. And you kind of posed a question to a lot of people as well about what would you tell your younger self? So I was just wondering, at what point did you actually discover music? And what was the catalyst for discovering of a particular type of music that you love?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a truthful answer, and then you're gonna have the sort of more philosophical answer about this. Because the first time I sort of discovered music, I was at a Def Leppard concert, and I saw the line of groupies actually going backstage, and I was like, dude, that's what I'm gonna do. That never happened in hindsight, but at least that sort of set off my 12-year mind that, is this how you get girls? Because I didn't at the time. So, you know, it's like, yeah, this seems like a great catalyst for that. But then, of course, I was also blown away by the songwriting first and foremost. That's what got me. And then I started standing in my bunk bed at home, pretending to be Klaus Meine or Bruce Dickinson and screaming to the audience, you know, come on, Long Beach Arena and whatnot. You know, it's like wishing that Bruce Dickinson would knock on the door and say, hey, you can come and sing with us today. so those were 3 of the bands. Europe was also the Swedish band Europe. Scorpions, Def Leppard, and Iron Maiden were the bands that I sort of looked up to from the start.
And was it vocals or guitars that you sort of looked at first, or did you want to do both?
Good question, because nobody asked me that. And it was none of it. It was the songs.
Okay.
I was never like... Because also, I mean, as a kid, I think the first thing that you do hear, or that I heard at least, is the vocals. That's what I hear at all times. I listen to the vocals first, because that's the song for me.
Yeah.
So it was... So I've never, when people asked me earlier, like 10 years ago, when they asked me, what do you do in the band? I was like, I'm a guitar player. And then I sort of remembered that I'm also the vocalist, you know, but because it's not important for me. The importance is not the instrument. It's the songs, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
even though I fucking love Yngwie Malmsteen and Paul Gilbert and Richie Kotzen and all of those things, you know, but that's not why I listen to Iron Maiden. It's because of all of that. It's because Adrian Smith and Dave Murray are the best guitar duo in the world, and because Adrian Smith writes the best memorable solos. He's not the greatest shredder, but I can sing all of his notes, you know? That's a rare talent today.
It is, definitely. And I mean, is that partly the reason why you do Silent Skies? Because obviously that seems to be, to me, a bit more vocal oriented, I guess, to some degree.
Yeah, what is that for me? I think it's just a way to explore, a different side of myself, I guess. Pretty much like I see it in life. You know, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a musician, I'm a asshole, I'm a, you know, all of these things. And in music form, I have just presented the Evergrey part of my music, you know. And Silent Skies is a different one. Even I'm still singing. It's very different from Evergrey.
Yeah, definitely. So what now for Evergrey in 2022? You mentioned earlier about doing some shows and touring and things like that. I guess that's what you're going to be trying to doing for the entire year, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting. It's still, I don't know how things are where you are, but you've been in lockdown, right, for like 500 days or whatever. We never were, you know. So
All right. Okay.
it's been open, but only open in Sweden, you know. So people have first people thought we were fucking insane here, and then it's like, oh, they had it right, you know.
Yeah.
So we never closed anything. We just had distancing, social distancing, and of
Yeah.
course you couldn't go to clubs or concerts and stuff like that. And that's still going in Europe. Like in Germany, it's still highly restricted and so forth. And we have these rises now of COVID in different European countries.
Yeah.
Because you can't lock it down. It's impossible. It will spread
That's right.
eventually anyway, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So hopefully we're starting the tour in September that we have moved 4 times. Last time we moved it 14 months ahead because we knew that all the venues would be booked for years to come. And that's the
Yeah.
truth.
Yep.
So we're starting in September for 7 weeks in Europe. And then then we're looking at, the other markets whenever the world opens up. But US, I know, like February, March, and hopefully Australia in between or after, and then it's all of these, Asia, South America.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what we're gonna do now for a bunch of years, given that we have 2 albums out. So
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'd love to have you down in Australia as well. And congratulations on the new album. Phenomenal stuff as always. And
thank you so
good
much.
luck with everything in this year. I mean, I say this to everyone, but given the circumstances, I think everyone needs a bit of luck. So hopefully everything works out for you.
The same to you, man. Thanks for having me.